So here we go, everybody. Welcome to another video here on Kings of Anglia. I'm your host, Roscoe, and I'm joined by good old Stuart Watson as we look ahead to March for Town. 5 big games, 15 points up for grabs. Stu, thanks for joining me. Thoughts on this month ahead? Some big games against some of the promotion rivals, but we start off with two of the teams battling relegation. You think your thoughts going into this month?
Yeah, well, first of all, it's 2 home games, Saturday, Tuesday coming up, and I always think those quick fire home double headers always give you a chance to get momentum going in a season. Ipswich finally have got back-to-back league games after the wins against Forest Green and MK Dons. They hadn't done that since September. Can they keep that momentum going now? These 2 home games coming up will set the tone for the month ahead, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Let's quickly just run through the games before we get into our first one. We've got Burton at home, Accrington at home, then we've got a away trip to Bolton, then Shrewsbury at home, and then Barnsley away to end March as we get to the run-in in the season. Let's start off then, Stu, with Burton at home, who are a different side to when we played them last time. The 18th in League One, now out of the relegation zone. Dino, the man they're in charge there. They've got Gassam Mahadmi. Of course, he won't play because he's a lone player. But thoughts on this one? They're 4 wins in the last 6 games, so they're on a good run.
Yeah, 6 wins in their last 10. That puts them, I think, 8th in the form table post-Christmas. They've taken more points than Ipswich in that period. So that gives you an idea of what Ipswich are facing on Saturday. 18th in the table probably doesn't tell the full story with them there. That said, their record against the teams at the top end of the table isn't particularly good. They lost their top goal scorer to Bolton in January and Victor Adebayo. Davis Keeler-Dunn left in January as well, who chipped in with a few goals. And as you say, it's been all change really in January. They've got a clutch of loan players that have come in, people like Sam Lavelle and Charlie Kirk from Charlton among them. And by all accounts, as those recent results suggest, they've hit the ground running and done quite well. Ahadmi, as you say, won't be eligible to face his parent club at the weekend. Going into the bit of the unknown with this game for all of those factors, Ipswich really had their work cut out at Burton very early on in the season. Were quite fortunate to win that game 1-0. It was a game that McKenna talked about being a game of chaos. Burton were obviously under Hasselbank at that stage. They just were bombarding the Ipswich box with crosses and long balls, and Ipswich did well to kind of escape with a 1-0 win that night. A lot has changed from then, so I don't think we can read too much into that stylistically. So, yeah, a tricky game to start the month, Burton at home on Saturday.
Definitely. Prediction for that one, my friend?
I think all things considered, Ipswich will come through this one. I've got them down for a 2-0 win.
Yeah, I think this is going to be, as you said, we're going to go into the unknown with this fixture. I'm going to go for a 1-0. I think just a solid victory. Last time we played it was a 3-0 win, and we scored in like 42 seconds. Of course, Caden Jackson scoring back in February last year. And of course, the 1-0 win at the Preddy was a tough game. So 3 points for both us there. Accrington Stanley then under lights, a team who are battling relegation at the moment. John Coleman, the manager, 21st in League One. We finally got the win over them at the Wham Stadium early in the season. Stu, thoughts on this one back at Horn Road?
We'll whisper it quietly, Ross, but I feel like the sort of Accrington curse is lifting a little bit. I feel like we've moved on from that. Accrington have caused some troubles for Ipswich. When we look back, hopefully when Ipswich kind of finally escape League One, I think we'll kind of look back on this era, and Accrington will kind of be shorthand for some of the frustrations, obviously dating back to the FA Cup defeat there on the way to relegation. And they've proved a big, physical, awkward side for Ipswich to play against in the early years of League One. But they're not that side anymore. They've lost some of the big players that, both in a literal sense and, metaphorically as well for them over the last little while. John Coleman's got a job on his hand keeping them up. I think they've only won twice since the end of November. Their EFL trophy run came to an end at the semi-final stage last week, which would have been a blow to them as well. Ipswich won there earlier in the season 2-0. A couple of late Connor Chaplin goals sealed it. I think this could be a night where Ipswich cut loose a little bit. Could be another Morecambe Forest Green Tuesday night under the lights. I think Ipswich's depth in squad could come to the fore, and I think this could be an enjoyable one. Hopefully.
Yeah, definitely. Their away form isn't great either. Well, their form in general, as you mentioned, is not great. What's the scoreline prediction you're going to go for? You said you're going to run riot.
Well, yeah, call me bold, but I'll put them down for 4-0, a replica of the Morecambe and the Forest Green games.
Yeah, I've gone that for that too still. It'll be boring. I've gone the same. 4-0 win, a few goals, and definitely a night to remember under the lights. Then a trip to Bolton. A team who, well, they were above Town for a brief moment on Tuesday night because they were in front against Pompey, and then they lost 3-1. So they are fourth in League One. Of course, a 1-1 draw on opening day against Town. A team who are a very good team under Ian Evatt, but it's going to be a tough game at Bolton. Thoughts on this one?
Well, if we're right and Ipswich win these 2 home games coming up, they'll be going into this with momentum. There'll be 4 wins in a row. But Bolton steamrolled their way to promotion in the second half. They had a really strong second half of their promotion season, and they're threatening to do so again. They've won 11 of their last 14 games in all competitions. They were the team that beat Accrington in that semi-final. So they've got a Wembley Papa John's final coming up against Plymouth to look forward to. Joyous scenes there with their fans, pitch invasion and everything. And they've really got the bit between their teeth at the moment. Looks like Ian Evatt has strengthened his squad further in January. And they've become a bit of a winning machine. Ipswich, as we say, hopefully will be going into it with a bit of momentum as well. Really tough one to call this. This could be two of the division's big boys, juggernauts, both with a bit of momentum going head to head. So looking forward to this one.
Definitely. And are you going to make it 3 wins out of 3, make it 5 wins out of 5 on the previous 2 games, or are we going to go down that route where they just can't get over the line?
I can't put them down for a win in this one, Ross. Looking at Bolton's form and some of the players that they've got available, I think these 2 might cancel each other out here. I think this might be a 0-0. I think it's going to be a really good game, and I think they might just cancel each other out.
Yeah, I've got that same feeling, but I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. I think both teams will get a goal. So yeah, 1-1 draw, and of course another great away end. Town fans, this is a trip I'm sure they're looking forward to. Then Shrewsbury at home, 9th in League One. Your dark horses, Stu, another team that came out of nowhere. They've had a few bad results, here and there, but only 1 defeat actually in the last 9. And of course, when we last played them back in August, we won 3-0, and that was a good performance. But Steve Cottrell has changed a lot in terms of how they've been playing, and they're doing pretty well, Stu.
Yeah, I did put them down as my dark horses before a ball was kicked because I think Steve Cottrell is an experienced manager. And I looked at some of the players that he signed, people like Shay Dunkley, Tom Flanagan at the back, Jordan Shipley, Cole Winchester from Sunderland, just experienced players that I thought were going to make them a really solid League One team. Didn't look a great shout when Ipswich went there and won 3-0 earlier in the season, but I think it's been vindicated of late. Shrewsbury won 6 on the spin, I think, January, February time, got themselves right on the edge of the playoffs. I think top 6 will be just that little bit too far for them, looking at the teams that are in the top 6 at the moment. But they're no mugs, as Mick McCarthy would say. I think this is, I look at, they've got Matt Pennington as part of that experienced defensive unit as well. I like their goalkeeper, Morosi. Much like Burton, this is a potential banana skin for Ipswich at Portman Road.
And will Town slip on that banana skin, Stu, or can they get over the line again?
No, they won't, Ross. I've got them down for just a narrow 1-0 win. I think this has got the potential for a frustrating afternoon. It might be one where a little bit of patience is required, but no, I've got to back Ipswich to find a way, and I've got them down for 1-0.
Okay, then. I'm going to make this interesting, Stu, because I'm sure listeners, viewers will be going, oh, God, they're agreeing with each other. I've gone for a draw. I think Shrewsbury will find a way. A Desmond I'm gone for. 2-2. Goals are plenty. So, sorry, Town fans. 2 points dropped going into the game against Barnsley, which is going to be a big one. At Oakwell, they're currently 6th in League One. They're a winning machine, but then have had a few bad results here and there as well. But Stu, thoughts on this one? 2-2 draw back in August. We had the Marcus Harness goal that was cancelled out because of things, but that's happened. But yeah, thoughts on this one?
Yeah, that was a travesty that day, wasn't it? Harness's goal disallowed for a non-existent foul, and that would have been 3-1, and in the end it finished 2-2. So a score to settle there for Ipswich Town. Michael Duff has got them going, hasn't he? If they win their 2 games in hand, they go above Ipswich in the table. That's where Barnsley are at the moment. They've won 6 of their last 7. Most notably, they beat Derby 4-1 last weekend. So that tells you a lot about them. James Norwood is the first name that comes to mind going into this one, of course. I think he's got 7 goals this season. He's kind of been in and out of their starting 11, but you always fear with someone like a former player coming back and haunting them, especially someone of James Norwood's personality. One thing that gives me a little bit of hope going into this one is looking at Barnsley's fixtures. Before that game at Oakwell, they've still got to play Portsmouth, Plymouth, Wickham and Sheffield Wednesday. That's their 4 games leading into that match. So although we're sitting here talking about them being a team in form and having a bit of momentum at the moment, that might not be the case by the time Ipswich go there towards the end of March. So, yeah, another big game on the road against a playoff promotion rival.
Indeed. What's your prediction, my friend? Of course, we've got April. It's going to be, Derby. I think Derby straight away after this game. So it'd be great to see where we're at after beating, drawing, losing against Barnsley. So what are you gone for?
I've gone for another draw, Ross. Ipswich have just come up just that little bit short in these fine margin games against the teams towards the top end of the table. Beat Derby 1-0 at Portman Road, of course, but couple of draws against Sheffield Wednesday, a draw and a defeat against Plymouth, drew against Bolton, drew against Barnsley. So I think it might just be another case of 2 teams cancelling each other out. This time I've gone for a score draw. I've gone for a 1-1.
Okay, then. Do you know what, Stu? I'm going to go with my heart instead of my head. I'm going to go for a 1-0 win. Connor Chaplin, late winner, taking on his former side. James Norwood, I know, gets sent off. See you later, Norwoods. But 3 points going into the run-in, and we shall see where Town are at. Stu, I think that's 11 points you've gone for out of 15. Do you think that is good enough on paper in terms of where we're going to be at, and top 2 of that going to be still there? Yeah, thoughts on that?
I think I'd be okay with that. That would be an unbeaten month. Win your 3 home games, draw the 2 away. And of course we want more, but I think that will be okay. I think what it would mean is we're in a very similar position to we are now. Ipswich, hopefully, if Plymouth and others maybe come unstuck here and there, I think we'll be in a fairly similar situation where we're talking about Ipswich, having work to do to get into the top 2 and it being very tight at the top and all to play for going into the final full month of the season.
Indeed, my friend. Well, thanks for joining me. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Let us know your comments, your thoughts, your predictions for March. Me and Stu have both gone for an unbeaten month. Hopefully that is the case. Let's bring it on. Let's go.